Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about the case against Session Zero for your tabletop role-playing game. So, if you go onto the internet right now, onto any of the streaming video services, you can find some very, very smart people on a lot of different tabletop role-playing game channels who will tell you about the wonderful, great, usefulness of Session Zero, right? And let me define Session Zero in case anybody doesn't know what it is. Session Zero is, Session One is an old concept. It's your first game in a campaign, okay? And the idea is, hey, we're going to get together, we're going to play this, let's say Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We're going to play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. In the old days, you'd just get together, you'd sit down, you'd have your game one, and you would tell people, bring your character to the table made up, right? And then you guys would just get together and you would play that game, right? Now, the problem with that is, what happens is without a Session Zero, this is what proponents of Session Zeros would have to say is, somebody goes, oh man, there's no dragons in this. I put a whole bunch of, I put one of my languages into Draconic just so I could talk to dragons, but there's no dragons in this game at all. And I'm upset, right? Or they might not say it, they might not even say it, but they feel it, right? Okay? Session Zero, what you would do is you would get together, and instead of the Dungeon Master saying, here's this world we're going to play in, you'd say, what do you guys want to play for Dungeons & Dragons, right? So do you want to play in Dark Sun, or do you want to play in Planescape or Ravenloft? Or here's my custom world, and it has sky ships, and it has crystals that when you hold them, they sing a song, right? And you're like that, but what do you guys want to put in there? And somebody's like, and then somebody at the table goes, oh, I know what I would like. I would like animal companions for every player, right? We all have a special animal companion, and because that person's like maybe a Pokemon fan or whatever, right? And then the other person goes, well, you know what? I know you really like Dungeons & Dragons, but I really dig Dungeon World, okay? So now, right here at your Session Zero, you're now running a Dungeon World game with a Pokemon element attached to your steampunk setting, okay? Now, what the inner tubes will tell you is that everybody's happy, right? What I'm going to tell you is I'm against Session Zeros, and here's my case against Session Zero, right? My case against Session Zero is simply to ask everyone to simply think what Session Zero actually is, okay? What is a Session Zero? Well, I'll tell you really clearly what a Session Zero is. Session Zero is a committee for your tabletop role-playing game, right? And basically, who likes committees? Committees are terrible, right? They're useless. And they bring together compromised product, right? We compromise throughout our entire life. Why on earth should we be compromising in our hobby, when we should just play something cool and epic, right? So here's the issue, right? If you are doing Session Zero, in my opinion, you're giving into the idea that your ideas are not cool enough to found a table, or you are giving up on the idea that you will find out that your ideas are not cool enough to found a table, okay? So I'm a dungeon master, right? I am a game master. I know for a fact that I can create worlds that are compelling that people want to play in, and the reason why is my players continue to say, what are you running next? Or will you run this, right? And so, and I have had requests saying, hey, I want to play in this specific world, will you run that? But more often than not, what I do is I go to my friends, and what I'll do when I create a new campaign, by the way, all my campaigns are 3, 5, or 7 sessions, okay? I never really run super long campaigns, which I suggest to everybody, and it's also another reason why you don't need Session Zero, right? So basically, having people come to play a tabletop role-playing game with you is traditionally, it's a tough sell. You're like, hey, can you read at least 300 pages of content and then come to my house for 4 hours on a weekend and do that repeatedly for 6 to 18 months or even longer? I mean, come on, that is a big ask, right? So Session Zero is like, hey, remember all that stuff I just said? Well, now we're going to have a session where we really don't play and we do nothing but get together and have a committee about the game we're going to play. It's like, I don't understand why people don't see how terrible Session Zeros are. Who on earth wants a committee to form a tabletop role-playing game? And that's what a Session Zero is. If you are a dungeon master or a game master, you need the following. You need a confidence that you can build a compelling world that players are going to love, okay? Or you need the courage to fail, right? Like, go out there, play your game, fail, they say they don't like it or they don't come back, and then you get new players and you shift your style, right? But this idea of, let's get together and create this, conglomerated mash of mashed potatoes and ice cream and habanero sauce is a bad idea. Throwing everybody's wants and desires into one bowl is not going to make an awesome, compelling world. And the reason why I'm taking the time to say this right now is there's a ton of people on the inner tubes right now saying it will. And I'm telling you, it won't, okay? If you are a dungeon master or a game master, do not hold a Session Zero, right? Have confidence in your ability and say, okay, I want to run this game. I have picked this setting. I'm going to choose this method to do it in, right? Then be clear with your players, okay? Set up a Facebook invite and put 4 people on it. Don't talk to anybody beforehand, right? Just say, hey, here it is. Stake in the ground. 2 weeks from now, I'm running this. Here's the place. Here's the system. Here's the worlds. Here's the focus of the game, right? And then every player can go, nope, that's not something I'm interested in. Or they could say, yeah, man, I'm down. Let's do this, right? And then also don't be upset if people are like, no, that's not my jam, man. And then you could take a clue from that what you proposed, you only got 3 out of 5, but then you can send your invite to others, and you're better off starting with 2 people who really dig the sauce that you're putting down, and then you can add people as you go on, bring them into the campaign, and build up to 5 players, right? And really, don't ever run with more than 5 players. It's a mistake, really common mistake. All right, so so that's my point: is be decisive, build a cool, compelling world, and then put that in front of people. Let them decide if that's something they want to be in. But don't play in this new, But my point is, 1, recognize Session Zero for what it is. It's a committee to form a tabletop role-playing game. And that's as lame as it sounds, right? And then the other issue is, be confident in your ability to build something cool and compelling, and also be willing to, to learn and pay attention to your players when you're playing. If they're not, listen to what they're saying in the game, right? And you're going to get, your game is going to take less of their time overall, and and you're going to be able to pull together the things that you need to pull that game going forward. So that is my case against Session Zero. Thank you.